afternoon and welcome to session 3 of our People in Motion art topic. And just a reminder that we're looking at how artists create movement in what is a still image, a photograph, a picture, a sculpture. So let me start by showing you two pictures. How do you think the artists have created the effect of movement in these pictures? Stop the video and have a good look. Well, if you look at the picture on the left, what we actually have here is a silhouette that has been cut out of somebody performing a movement. This silhouette has then been repeated 4 more times, and every time the silhouette has been moved very slightly. It's also been cut out in different colours, and once you overlap these silhouettes, it creates the effect of a person running. If we look over at the ballerina, a very similar technique. We've got a silhouette of a ballerina, and then we have the same silhouette moved very slightly, and the same silhouette moved very slightly again. However, in this picture, her foot has been kept almost in the same place. The artist here has also added lines to enhance the effect of movement, which is something that you practiced in your Keith Haring artwork that you did for session 1. These artists have used a similar technique. It's a repeated set of overlapping images. And if we look at the man here who is probably either digging, I think probably digging. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've actually got 11 images all in the same place of his body, and just the spade is moving. To help give us a sense of movement, the artist has changed the colour of the spade and has also changed the angle of the spade. And I think what I like about this one is in the background you can see some very faint circular lines, and they follow the line of movement of the spade there. So again, it's an overlapping set of 11 images. The hands here are actually photographs, and different photographs have been layered on top of each other to create the effect that the fingers are actually moving. And as you can see, something else the artist has used here, they've blurred and dulled the fingers at the back, and the ones at the front are much clearer. Now, 3 pictures here. Which background do you think helps to create the sense of movement? Stop the video and have a good look. So on the left we have some lines at the bottom of the ballerinas. In the centre we have no lines, and over here we have quite a range of lines. They seem to be following the movement of the person. I definitely think that adding lines helps to create the sense of movement. So either of these 2 techniques probably work better than having a plain background. If you were completing this activity, would you put darker shades at the back or towards the front? Have a look at these images. My personal opinion is that this works very well. This almost looks like it's the starting image and it's fading as it goes across. So I think having a duller image towards the back and a brighter image towards the front actually helps me with recognising this as movement. Now, your activity today is to create movement using overlapping figures or silhouettes and lines. So I'm going to take you through it step by step, showing you what I did, and then you can get cracking with some art of your own. So step 1, find a picture of somebody, an action figure, so somebody doing something that involves movement. You can look in a newspaper, a magazine, or if you need to, you could draw somebody. So I chose quite a simple picture of a rugby player here. And then you need to cut this figure out carefully. Don't worry about the fiddly parts like hair and fingers, but you do need to make sure that you need to cut out any areas that are enclosed. Now you're going to use this as a template. You need to use it several times, so it needs to be strengthened. So the next thing I did was to trace round the figure on some old card, and I used a cereal box. You should have everything you need for this activity at home. Trace round it and then cut it out. So I've now got a card template of my original figure, and this is what I'm going to use to create my artwork. So you now need to grab yourself some felt pens or coloured pencils and a piece of paper. Now what I did was I traced round my template over here. Then I moved it very slightly, traced round it with a different colour, moved it very slightly again, traced round with a different colour, and finished off with the green at the end. I chose to keep the foot of the rugby player in the same position because I liked the effect that had in the ballerina picture. Using different colours helps to make the templates stand out, and you really do only need to move it very slightly. Finally, I added a background. I added some lines to show the direction of movement. Now upon reflection, looking back at my picture, I think I probably added too many lines, but I've learned from that, and I think I was a little bit too reserved with the lines. I probably add some on either side as well. Now this is my finished movement picture with overlapping figures and the lines. Yours might look very different. The most important thing with this art is that you try and follow the process that I've described on the video and you have some fun. I really look forward to seeing your movement creations. If you want a little challenge, why don't you use a photo of yourself for the template? You can see what people have done here. This person's taken a photo, cut it out just like I did the rugby player, but instead of drawing around the template, she's actually cut the template out in different colour paper. That's only if you're lucky enough to have some different colour paper at home. However, you could be very clever and just use different types of paper. Could you use plain white? Could you use old newspaper? Could you cut a template from a picture in a magazine? So that's something to experiment with. And here somebody's done exactly the same thing. They've taken a photo of themselves, cut it out, and then used coloured paper, and then they've added a very abstract background.